Hello friends, in the leadership domain, we were talking about the change, the challenge, the capacities and the contentions. The PPT which is being shared by you by the coordinator right now, it is at the page number 19. It's page number 19 right now. And what we had tried to explain in this pre-cap session, let me tell you, is how the geopolitical situation, international war situation, changes in the economic and the financial world, market inputs, the various pressures which are being coming on us right now, how they are impacting us, our families, our finances, our learning process, our health, our social circles, and also our spiritual domain. How in the pandemic times we had been impacted very badly and adversely, and also how we have been able to deal with these changes and challenges which were in magnitude were 70 mm screen like. After World War II, first time such challenges were there for the humanity. It rather, you can say, compelled us to think innovatively in the new manner, the manner which we had not applied before, used before, thought before, but now we are doing it. The geopolitical situations in the world has created a new kind of vacuums where pressures are emerging from the West and East. The pressures are emerging from the democratic and so-called non-democratic institutions. There had been pressure on the so-called raw materials and the commodity prices and the crude prices. How the crude prices had, or rather energy prices have impacted our life so badly that even the inflation has reached almost 7-8%. And not just in India, in European Union, in America, Northern continent, Australia, New Zealand, Japan. No sphere, no area, no geopolitical domain has been left which is not impacted. And it has impacted us emotionally also. It has impacted our delivery system also. It has impacted our decision making also. In this leadership domain, what we are thinking, what we are saying, what we are practicing right now, and telling you people that the things which are the 4 C's, that is change, your challenge, your capacities, and contentions, how to deal with them. The changes which are emerging from this world, and any kind of change, challenges which are emerging from this world, and the capacities and capabilities and so-called potentials we have got, which had been tested to the maximum in this pandemic and so-called the most adverse times in this world after World War II, and contentions or the contentious issues which are haunting us, issues which are impacting us, issues which are impacting our decision making and our delivery making, both. The question is that, can we deal with them? Question is that, as a human being, can we deal with them? The question is that, can we succeed with them? The question is that, do the human beings have the capacities? They have the capabilities to deal with them? The answer is yes, they have got. Answer is yes, emphatic yes. I will say that we have dealt with them in World War II and I. We have dealt with them in Middle Ages. We have dealt in the, you can say, ancient ages. There is no way that human being cannot deal with them, because we have got a capacity, I won't say infinite, but near to infinite, where we are the programmers. We can create the programs. Programs don't create human beings. Human beings create programs, and we should be confident. We should be clear in the mind that we have done in the past. There is no reason we cannot do now. Friends, in leadership domain, when we talk about these 4 C's, geopolitical situation, the pressures coming from all sides, how to deal with them, then comes the theories also. And these theories can be in many ways, you can say, a behavior theory, a contingency theory, a trait theory, a transformational theory, and we have to keep theories in the mind. Before that, I also talked about the autocratic and democratic, you can say, the way people thinking, how the world has been demarcated, or you can say divided between the so-called democratic world and the autocratic world, and then we have to deal with them. Not just the countries autocratic or democratic, even institutions, organization, corporate sector, they also behave in the autocratic manner, and some in the democratic manner. Some consult, some persuade, some suggest, some take decisions on their own only. They become great drainers of your energy because they do not follow that one. Friends, let me tell you that the very first theory we are going to discuss is trait theories. Trait theory is basically at the slide number 19, the so-called trait theory. Now, trait theory is basically a theory which is based on your personality. You see, personality cults are impacting this world. It's the personalities which are being talked about. Personality means the political personality, or political, what we call it in Hindi, shakhsiyat, the personality, political personality, corporate personalities, sports personality, entertainment personalities, and the personalities from the other domain. We have got like our political leadership in India right now here. Their dominant presence is there, their personal aura is there, their charisma is also there, confidence and achievements and ability to formulate a clear vision is there, and there had been people around. In corporate sector, I think there are many people, I won't name, the top to bottom, there are many people who have influenced us. Then there can be the people who have influenced us emotionally also, the people who influenced us spiritually also. Mother Teresa, in the beginning I showed a picture of that one. Mother Teresa's picture was there, that she had a power, but power of emotions, the power of spirituality. She never had a chair. Think of a person like Gandhi. Gandhi never had a chair. He never occupied a post of prime minister or president or a minister anywhere, but still he was important. He was being revered like a god. Why? His persona was so grand, so big, that it becomes sometimes difficult to compare that person with any other person except so-called Nanak or Vivekanand or Lord Mahavir or Lord Buddha or some other gods also. Gandhi was also the incarnation of truth. Gandhi was also something who's inspired Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, whole lot of generation, and he will continue to inspire them for generations and generations, because Gandhis are born only once. Nanak is born once. Buddha and Mahavir and Rama born once. Prophets are born once. Jesus born once, never second time. And their impression, their inspiration, they last for centuries, not centuries, forever, till the humanity is there. So the trait theories speak about personalities who influence us, the people who create those changes. I'll narrate one small, you can say, tale of Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi had sent a team of his workers to Champaran in Bihar, early 20s, you can say, that go and check the poverty level there. And you know what happened there? The team came back after spending few weeks there, and they said people are extremely poor, they do not have the 2 times meal. And they gave all the reporting. But when Gandhiji asked the workers, what is the state of women there? And they say, we had not checked, they were as poor. But Gandhiji was not satisfied. Then Gandhiji sent Kasturba and Gokhale that you both go to Champaran, spend few weeks there, try to find out the situation of women there and get back to me. Kasturba, Ba, and Gokhale, Ba. Both went there, they spent some time there, and one fine day when they're roaming around the dusty roads of that town, Champaran, small town in Bihar, they were thirsty and they came across a hut. They knocked the door of the hut and they asked, can somebody offer us a glass of water? And slowly, door got opened slightly. A hand came up, which was a lady's hand. A glass of water was there. She offered. Ba, Kasturba and Gokhale Ba both drank the water, thanked that lady. But then Kasturba Ba said, we have seen the hand which has offered us water. Please show us your face also. And that lady inside that hut, poor hut, dilapidated hut, started crying. Ba asked her, what happened? Why can't you come out? We are ladies here, you can come out. And what she said, sobbing, crying, he said, Ba, we are 3 ladies here who stay in the hut, this poor hut. We have got only one old sari to wear, and that one person, one lady from this house, this hut, has gone out to fetch something for eating, and we 2 other ladies are in semi-naked condition. We cannot come out because we do not have clothes to cover our bodies. And Ba, when she listened, she cried and she said, you need not come out. We now know what is the state of affairs in Champaran for women. Ba and Gokhale madam came back and narrated this story to Mahatma Gandhi. And Mahatma Gandhi said what is called empathy, putting yourself in shoes of others, a great personality, great human being. And he said, my people in this country do not have just 2 pair of reasonable clothing to cover their bodies even. And my sisters, my mothers, my daughters in this country are suffering immensely. And I'm wearing so many clothes. I shall sacrifice them unless my fellow Indians have got 2 pairs of reasonable clothes on their body. I will spend my lifetime in a loincloth and dhoti. That was Gandhi. That was Gandhi for you, empathetic Gandhi. That was Gandhi who was a personality. That was a Gandhi who had the aura. That was a Gandhi who was confident what he was doing and what he was saying. His power came from the truth. These people formulate a vision. These people make a pathway. These people create the confidence in the people. And these people become not just achievers, rather they become living gods because they are like that. And then when we think of the next, you can say, behavior theory, which is the slide number 20, which says that leaders can be trained. I agree. Leaders can be trained. Leaders can be made. They can be made by the circumstances, conditions, training also. I believe you all people who are studying here, you all people are working somewhere also. So you are working as a professionals, plus you are enhancing your skills. It means you are getting trained. Trained to become managers. Trained to become leaders. Can a manager become leader? A manager is a leader. A leader is a manager. It means there is a manager inside a leader and there is a leader inside a manager. Never forget that one. And I personally believe that in a structured manner, you can really, in a way, forge ahead and create some kind of leadership inside you. That theory can help you. That training can help you. The people can be trained. The people can be, you can say, motivated. In a structured manner, they can do something wherein they can become the force of, you can say, inspiration for other people. I believe training is far more important. Like kids are being trained, like the young students are being trained, like people all over the world are trained in between also. There is a mid-age training also taking place there. It can happen very easily. It's easy because unless people are trained, unless people are educated, how will they develop? See, a gardener has a seed. It has to sow in the soil. But then training means what? Nurturing, the growth, looking after. It means giving the water, giving the sun, giving the fertilizer, looking after that seed that it comes out of the earth with the saplings. Planted somewhere else can be done. Then nurturing again till it becomes independent, stand on its feet, grows, gives the fruits, flowers. It means a training or looking after, nurturing can help. The leadership, if people are properly trained, they can become the fantastic leaders. But some qualities come by birth also. There is no doubt about it. And behavior can be changed through some kind of structural programs. And I think we in the corporate are having a lot of such programs. Grooming programs are there. Some other kind of programs through which we can mold that talent. We can, You can have the skilled people. If we can have the competent people there. These things can be done. These things had been done. These things will be done. And you all have been product of that training. Training inside the organization, training inside the family, training by the parents, by the teachers, by the guides, by the mentors, by the professors, by the institutions, by the organizations, and maybe by your own managers inside the organizations. They all help you, isn't it? So we have to be confident enough that we can learn, we can train, we can structure ourselves, we can create the systems which can be evolved into a professional leadership very easily, which can be easily dealing with the, again, 4 C's comes back: change, challenge, capacities, contentions, and you can deal with them very easily, isn't it? Now, coming to the contingency theory, which is basically the slide number 21. We'll be coming to that one. So trait we have discovered, and then behavior we have discovered. Now the contingency. The contingency theory says the leadership is more flexible in the nature. Different leadership style used at the different times depending on the circumstances. Now I'll come to here. In World War II, there were 2 kinds of so-called leadership which emerged from the Britain. One was during the war. Churchill gave the great leadership. But moment the war was over, Churchill won the war and he was lauded all over the world. But then there are peaceful times. When volatile times, the leadership is different. In peaceful times, the leadership is different. And after Churchill, who came? The Attlee. Attlee was the peacetime, you can say, Prime Minister. And then in his time came the independence of India. Now think, Churchill's name is very famous right now. Not many people know the name of Attlee, that he was the Prime Minister at that time. But then he transformed Britain from where? From volatile times. Because Britain was also destroyed. They had to come up with the trauma. And that time, the leadership which was required was the leadership which could have built upon the ashes. Remember, Japan, 1945. World War was over. 1947, India got independence. Japan was in ruins. The 2 atom bombs which were dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, and so-called atom bomb was named Little Boy, I think, and one, I have forgotten the second one's name. One atom bomb was named Little Boy, actually. They devastated 2 towns. They devastated Japan. They devastated the humanity. But from that one, what came out? The resolve of the Japanese. The king said, I have got nothing to give you except my blood. Now I ask you to come and sacrifice for Japan whatever you're left with. Try to build up a Japan which will be relied upon, which people will be taking great pride in. Produce something which is qualitative. I'll not ask you to come to my office. I'll not ask you to come to take the licenses for the industry. I'll not ask you to do something spectacular. I'll ask you whatever you can do. But keep the Japanese in the mind, keep the Japan in mind. Try to make in next 15 years the Japan which people will be relied upon. People can say, yes, this is the Japan we wanted. And by the early 60s, the Japan which was in ruins, they started running the bullet trains in 60s. They had the Japan in the early 60s, which can be envy. And we had a great movie also in the 60s, which was shot in the Japan, Love in Tokyo, if you recollect it. If some people had not seen it, they can see this movie, Love in Tokyo. Very nice movie with the nice songs, but a lot of locales of Japan being used there. And you can see what was Japan in 60s. And while watching the movie, just think, within 15 or 17 years of being devastated in the World War II in 1945, how Japan transformed it in the 15 to 17 years time in those days. That is called the leadership. That is called the leadership which is flexible, which is the peaceful leadership, or rather a wartime leadership. And right now, again, the geopolitical situations which are emerging in all over the world, which are suggesting that there is a warlike situation, there is a warlike leadership. What we see in Ukraine, like in the form of Zelensky, is a wartime leadership. I do not know what kind of peaceful leadership he is going to emerge or maybe transformed later on, but right now he is a fantastic wartime leadership example all over the world. There is no doubt about it. And these people can transform. These people can transform the societies. These people can inspire the society. These people can encourage and motivate the society, and they can do something which is. Some people are coming, Japan has low population. Well, China has got a very high population, sir, than 140 crore, and they have progressed, and their per capita income is almost 6 times of India. So I don't think the population is the right kind of context as far as richness or the affluence is concerned. The question is commitment. The question is the hard work. The question is vision. The question how you are going to do it actually. So I don't think the population is basically a question. Population can be converted into asset, or population can be converted into liability. It depends on the leadership and the pathway they are showing. So in the contingency theory, definitely we say that yes, things can be flexible, and leadership in the industry where you people are working, you can also change, you can also mold, you can also do something, or maybe create significant and reasonable changes with spectacular results where you will be respected for that one. Well, so the theories of the leadership can depend, which we come on the so-called slide number 22 right now. You can, I think I'll request the slide number 22 here. Theories of leadership can depend on the type of staff. Well, when we talk about type of staff, it means the skill levels. Now, skills are something which India is hugely deficient. You'll say IITs are there, IIMs are there, engineering colleges are there, law colleges are there. But 85% of our graduates presently are unemployable. They do not have attitudinal skills. They may be having aptitudinal skills, but they lack the attitudinal skills, and that's the major flaw. That's one reason that India, despite being the large population, we do not have the so-called attitudinal power. We have the aptitudinal power. Then we sometimes lack the history of business, the culture of business, quality of relationship, nature of changes needed, accepted norms with the institution. Lot of things are there which can be really, you can say, relied upon, I believe so. But these theories basically, which will come to the next slide, number 23 right now, which is transformational. It means they can bring lot of changes which were not expected before, but which can be created, which can be nurtured, which can be grown, which can be initiated, which can be motivated and inspired. I believe for any business organization to thrive, I believe that these kind of transformations are necessary, and that too in these days, the political situation which is emerging, which is quite volatile, restlessness, and particularly the unpredictability of the times, which I am repeatedly saying it, the times are exactly unpredictable. We cannot say. Somebody is writing, "Sir, what is the difference between the attitude of skill, attitudinal skill?" Okay. Aptitudinal skills means what you learn through your colleges, the so-called your work knowledge, domain knowledge, like engineering or the medicine, or right now you are going through management skills, you are going through leadership theories or team building theory, communication, or maybe HR or finance work, whatever might be, other domains are there. But attitudinal skills are positive attitude, motivation, communication, how you speak to each other, how you connect with each other, and what kind of commitment, and you can say goal settings are there, objectives are there, how competent you are. Those are called attitudinal skills, and 85% of the time these are the attitudinal skills which to work, and that's why you people are being absorbed and rather trained for. Even in the airlines industry, when you go, the people there, maybe these people are expert in the grooming, you can say, exercises, the grooming attitude, these so-called positive attitude, nice communication, smiling communication, the so-called pleasant communication, that becomes far more important. They can transform them, and these have got widespread, you can say, influence all over. Then what is required is a transformational leadership is long-term strategic planning. What is strategic? Strategy is basically a planning which is long-term, maybe 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, or futuristic planning. You need to have clear objectives and the vision, and leading by example, rather walk the talk, and efficiency of systems and processes and structures, what you're doing there. Now, question is that right now, can we have a nice vision? A leadership must have a vision also. what you can see in the future, how you can create those pathways. Like if you want to walk somewhere but there is no road, but then somebody has to come out and they'll create a pathway there. They'll create a road there on which the people can really, you can say, walk on that one. Who makes these pathways on which people talk and walk? Who are those leaders who make these ways? Who are these people who make these bridges? Who are these people who make futuristic planning? Let me give you an example now. In between, I will be having my drink also, right? So that I can nourish myself also. Now, one thing called futuristic planning. When you are working in the organization, you are given the talks on the 1 year, 6 months, 1 year, 3 years goals, 5 year goals, 10 years goals. But if I say, sometime if you are being asked to make a goal for next 50 years, you will say 50 years. Maybe I may not be alive. 70 years, 100 years, 200 years. Can we do such kind of planning? Is it possible? I say it's possible in certain areas. Why not? Let me give you an example. When I'll say around 300 years now, not exactly, but maybe slightly here and there, when a king, Jai Singh, he says, I need to have a new city, Jaipur, and all the areas, all the roads should cut at the 90-degree angle. It should be scientific, it should be mathematical, and it should be precision-wise. And the Jaipur became the first city in India, which was scientific city totally, which could cater to the needs of 200 years from that day when it was starting. It is still meeting the needs of today, even after almost 300 years or 275 years, whatever might be. When Chandigarh was being built, it was built in the mind that I shall have the roads, structures, architectures, which will last for next 200 years. You go to the roads of Chandigarh, so wide. In those days when it was built, almost 100 years, they thought that it should last for next 100 or 150 years. Think of some bridges which could last 100 years, 150 years, how they have built. Think of some of the airports. The British gave us Santa Cruz Airport and Juhu airports. They are still there in Bombay right now. And Santa Cruz Airport, which is Sahar International Airport, it is still catering to the needs 100 years after it was first started. So long term, futuristic planning is there, strategic plannings are there. We need to understand that such kind of planning also do exist in our society, and there are people who have got such kind of futuristic vision. This is called transformational leadership, wherein what we think of today for tomorrow, and that tomorrow can be 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 100 years from now, 200 years from now. And that's the beauty of this thing. Now, we will coming to the next slide 24 here, which basically is transactional leadership here. Now, we have covered the trait leadership, we have behavior also, we have behavior, then the transactional and the transformational also. So, transactional theory means what? Focus on management of the organization, what you people are doing right now. You must be working somewhere in some organization, and then you are delivering. And two things which becomes very important in the so-called any organization, whether even geopolitical situation, countries also, is decision making and delivery system. What you have decided, number one, what you delivered, and that delivery is the final mark, final domain on which you will be judged. Because your decision is wrong or right, who will decide it? Your delivery system. Acceptance by the people inside the industry, outside the industry, whether in the form of quality or management or marketing or sales, whatever might be the domain then. Focus on the management of domain. What is the management? Who's the management? You or me and management. Who's the leader? You and me and leaders at some level, lower level, middle level, higher level. And then decision making comes. Management of that organization. What is the management? Same planning, organization, resources, human resources, how to apply them, how to get feedback, same thing. Focusing on the procedure and efficiency. Now, beautiful thing is coming here. Procedures, rules, regulations. Without rules and regulation, procedures, you cannot forge ahead. That is making the pathway. That you need to walk on these pathways. That is your, you can say, domain. Efficiency. Now, two words are being used here. Efficiency and effectiveness. Efficiency is basically with the productivity. Like typing speed. What is the level of efficiency? You say suppose 30 words per minute. Fantastic. You can increase to 50 words. Better efficiency. If a system in, say, in a factory is producing in 1 hour 100 pieces of something, but then you make it more efficient by having some other means wherein it starts delivering 150 pieces, say in 1 hour, it means the efficiency of that machine or that setup in a factory has gone up. Now, question is that efficiency is more about the material things, less about the ourselves. Although it depends on us, but what pertains to us as a human being is effectiveness, not the efficiency. Of course, efficiency is also used a word for us, but effectiveness becomes more powerful word for human beings, and that's the difference between the two. Focus on working to rules and contracts. Yes, transactional theories definitely work on them, because rules and contracts, they are important part of corporate life, business life, economic life, or maybe any event life. Managing the current issues and problems. Now we are basically, you can say, volatile times, turbulent times, volatile and restless times. The times which we have gone through pandemic, times we have gone through economic downturn, times when we lost our jobs, we were sitting at home, the times we were sick and we were in the hospital and we spent huge amount of money to recover, and many of us lost their lives also. That pain is also there. Lakhs of people, millions of people lost their lives all over the world. We have gone through the extreme pains after World War II. Torrid times. In torrid times, transactional leadership helps, because everybody is stressed, everybody is tense. Now, when everybody is tense, the top leadership is tense, middle leadership is tense, lower leadership is tense, top manager is tense, middle manager is tense, lower manager is tense. Who's going to de-stress yourself and other people then? It means mentally, emotionally, motivationally, you need to lift yourself, come out of those traumas and think that maybe I'm in pain, but other people have got pain. I have to relieve their pains. Once they get relieved from their pains slightly, we become better. We feel better. And that is that transactional leadership wherein we forget our pains. We become more empathetic. We try to create those changes. We try to encourage people to come out with a decision making which will give a powerful and efficient delivery system to the people, whether it's these days so-called 10-minute delivery or 1 hour delivery or 1 day delivery, and then you got so-called time slots. You can say huge pressures we are creating on ourselves that in 10 minutes you have to deliver, a pizza has to deliver in 30 minutes and some other item has to deliver in 1 hour. What we are doing here is just, you can say, increasing sometime our own headache, and we are putting extra pressures on the human beings, the human resources, to perform beyond their given capacities. Coming to the slide number 25 right now, the factors which affect our style. How much risk we can take. I just gave you an example of 10 minutes delivery which is happening right now in the corporates, and many of the organizations, whether they are delivering the vegetables or the household goods or the so-called what I'll say is a kitchen goods or some other necessities of the home, and they will say I'll deliver you in 10 minutes. Now this 10 minutes is huge risk. How? The police people in many cities are saying that 10 minutes means you need to rush your vehicles or the motorcycles or the scooters through the lanes, by lanes and main roads, and then 10 minutes delivery time, you may hurt somebody. They are right. I gave you just one example. And they are probably in the near future, the 10 minutes delivery may be banned right now, and maybe other 30 minutes will continue, 20 minutes will continue, because there is a risk involved. And how much risk you can take? Type of business, what kind of business you are in, or supply chains, how can you control them? And how important is change? Change or change sake? Or maybe how's the organization culture? But then how many times we do study the organization culture? Very rarely. And people are being taught in the training that this is our vision, this is our mission, this is our culture, these are our value systems, these are our principles. But then very next day people forget and they just treat on the path which is, you can say, treaded by many people. Somebody is writing, sir, when will be the polling? Polling means what? Please clarify what kind of polling. You want the political polling or some, you can say, MCQs of after this session itself. That we will tell you now. Let you know. I'll message coordinator or request the coordinator to inform about this one to the trainees there, or the nature of the task. The factors which are affecting us, we need to keep in mind. If we don't keep that in mind, then there is going to be extremely, extremely difficult periods, difficult times for us. We'll go to the next slide right now. A slight, you can say, difference between the so-called leaders and managers. But I always say there is a manager inside a leader and there is a leader inside a manager. Both are, you can say, existing simultaneously in a person, because a manager, he can focus on things, and a leader who focuses on the people. But all the time it's the one person sometimes which focuses on the things also, which focuses on the people also. Like you are in the home domain, and then you need to look after the people around you, maybe your wife, your kids, your parents also. But then you also need to look after what kind of deficiencies are there in the home, and I have to compensate for that one. What kind of things are needed in the kitchen, or for the kids, or for the parents, or for yourself itself, you have to manage. It means you're focusing on the things and people both. Do things right and do the right things. Now, this is to be understood. This is not so simple to understand, I tell you. Manager, do things right. It means the way you have been told to do it. This is the one system. This is how to carry out. This is a training program. It means a certain machine is to be carried out, a certain procedure is to be carried out, a certain note is to be written in a particular manner, or a certain address is to be given, or like you are meeting your senior leader somewhere, how it should be done, how to do the right things. It means how to start a machine properly, how to graduate it properly. A thorough system is there, a structure is there through which you have to go through. When I talk about leadership, do the right thing. Now, this is not something structure and procedure. It is a value system. It is the truth. It is the character. It is the integrity. Do the right thing. Don't do the wrong things. It means do ethical things. Do true things. Don't do the false things. Don't go for manipulations. Don't try to manipulate yourself and try to. It's value system. It's character. It's truthfulness. It's courage. So doing things right and doing the right things, huge difference is there. Manager plans, leaders inspire. True. Planning is also done by leaders. As I said, both are inside a person. Managers can organize people, material, finances, other resources. Leaders again can influence it. They have direct impact because they are motivational force. And whatever is the motivational force can impact you. Managers can be direct, but leaders have to motivate. Manager will say, do this one, but he will say, we all can do it together. Managers can control, but leaders build. They build organizations, they build nations, they build things. And then managers follow the rules, and leaders shape the entities, rather they make rules. Rather, they shape the things, how the things can be done. And that's far, far more important. I think, okay, the answer has come. The questions what we're talking, the polling time, that is the questions will be coming to you, and how you have to answer, doesn't matter. We'll come to now slide number 27. I may not show you all the slides because slides will be reaching you later on and you can understand them. There is no question of going through them. Lot of things because I have got the slide around 40. So all slides keeping in view of this one not shown. So common activity basically are planning, organizing, directing and controlling. And when we come to the slide number 28 right now, so what planning is all about? It means here, think that we are not just talking about leadership or a manager. It's a combined entity that a manager basically does the planning, budgeting, setting the target, establish detailed steps, allocate resources. Same person can have a leader and a manager inside, where the same person can devise the strategy, sets the direction and creates the vision. And vision, I said, is something making a pathway for the people on which the people will be talking and walking, where manager does all kinds of budgeting, how much salary is to be given, how much expenses will be there, how much you can say incomes will be there, all kind of credit, debit, other things, because the profitability will emerge from that one, or the losses will emerge from that one, or the targets or the goals of productivity will emerge from that one. So how the organization is going to work, it's a part of the planning. And when we go to the next organization, which is slide number 28, manager's job is to create structures and systems. They tell you what is your job, like you're working somewhere, somebody might have trained you and they have given you the job description, what exactly you are expected to do here. Then what kind of staffing will be there, how much staffing is required, at which rank how much staffs are required, hierarchy, how you'll go up, and how is delegation. Now delegation extremely important thing. This is something you have to create a trust. Whom will you delegate your job? The one who is trustworthy. Now delegation of job is not so easy. Like say this fantastic institution is there, and this fantastic institution called Wellinger is now delegating that teaching job to somebody. Who's that person? Is that person trustworthy? Is Dinesh Vohra trustworthy to deliver the session to the people who are coming as a trainee in this program? Delegating the power, delegating the teaching, delegating your work. But delegation has got one more word, which is a hidden word called trust. That the person whom the job is being delegated is trustworthy, competent, skillful. Can he do it? Can he deliver it? So question comes on delivery again. As I said, two things are very important in leadership. One is decision making, one is delivery system. And of course, 4 C's never go away. So change, capacity, challenges and contentions, which is my theory and I had devised it. And then training, how people can be trained. If kids have to train in the home, why people can't be trained? Everybody has got to be trained. Even if I have reached here at this level, say I'm today visiting faculty, I have been trained somewhere. And through that training process, through that structure process, a creative structure process, I have reached here. That's how I'm trying to deliver it. Then leader, what he does, get the people on board for strategy. He creates confidence. He tells people you can do it, motivates, communicate. Now communication is entirely a new subject. I have got my books also on that one, and I have done a tremendous job while communicating the people in universities and also on my talk shows and YouTube channels, News Time, Mcq Poll, and also at various domains. And I personally have found that communication is one of the most difficult subjects to teach. Communication is one of the most difficult things to do in this world. Communication, or rather a fine communication, a pleasant communication, or effective communication, or efficient communication, not so easy. I think there lies the crux of the life. There lies all kind of leadership qualities. There lies how we can resolve the matters, contentious matter in this geopolitical situation, volatile situation, and how we can create networks. It means how we can connect people, how we can connect the things, how we can create a kind of network which can be useful or beneficial for the people here. Then we come directing the work, the next slide here, which is slide number 30 right now. The direction. What is direction here? The first thing first, solve the problems. It's a human word. It's a natural word. Slide number 30. It means solving the problem. Who can solve the problem? The person who is sound in the mind. The person who is not stressful. The person who can take decision making. The person who's, you can say, have the patience. The person who listens to people. The person who is empathetic, it means putting himself into other people's shoes. And person who can speak well, reasonably well, communicate well, negotiate well. Who can negotiate? One who's at the mental peace. Who can bring the people to consensus? One who can think like a thinker, like a philosopher, like a person, yes, that I'm empathetic and I'm sympathetic and I know what I want and I know what you can deliver. A person who can have a pathway in between. And a leader also inside who can empower, who can tell you you are capable, you have the potential, you have the capacity, you have the capability, you have those inbuilt characters to bloom yourself into a powerhouse and you can empower. And then you can be a cheerleader like मशाल लेके लोग चलते हैं ना, गाइड लेके साथ में एक किस्म से कैंडल लेके, कैंडल मार्च, cheer leader who says you can do it, and doing it has got all the qualities. So directing the work means this is the quality which is essential quality of manager as well as a leader, I can say. Next slide will come to 31 is controlling, the fourth, you can say, work of so-called manager. Implement control system. Now, very important here. Anything which is being created and operated has to have a control system. And control system can be mechanical also, but every machine, every control system is devised by human being, because as I said before, only a human being is a programmer, nobody else. And his performance can be measured on a scale 1 to 10, 1 to 100, 1 to 5, whatever might be your scale. And then he identifies the variance, how much he is going away or near to the target, and fixes variances. This much you can go away, but not that much. But leadership is all about, you can say, so-called attitudinal qualities, and managership is all about aptitudinal qualities. How to motivate and inspire, and how to give sense of accomplishment. Not many people in this world inspire the people, because we have got into the habit of so-called crab mindset. And in many countries, many organizations, however good work you may do, but you go for so-called crab mindset, where people try to drag you down. People try to just take you down. People try to just push you down, put you down. And I sometimes feel painful at that one, that what exactly is happening here. I think a leader has to come out here from a person. A manager can be a crab mindset person, but a leader cannot be. Leader can be a kind of person who has an influence, who can communicate, who can motivate, who can change, who can transform, who can do unprecedented things at the big magnitude level, 70 mm screen, not the other people, because thinking has to be big. I'll come to the 33 number slide here. Leadership. What I say, next slide please. We will be leaving this one, because these are very, you can say, clerical things which can be understood by the people when they go through the slides themselves at their own and easily. Next slide only, 33 number. Every problem emerges from human being. Whether mechanical problem, economic problem, financial problem, business problem. Every problem is a human problem, let me tell you. Don't say it's a machine problem. We have created that machine. We have created procedures and so-called modulations for that one. If that got wrong, only we can change it now. So if you want to see the change somewhere else, you be the change first. Gandhiji's theory is there. Why Gandhiji? Hundreds of people, they have been doing it. You need to look at yourself holistically, philosophically, as a person who's able, through his character, through his values, who can change the things easily. That's about your principle and the value system, the goodness, your character, the truthfulness, or your so-called honesty. Honesty is also getting rare these days. If honesty is rare, truth is rare. Truth is rare, courage is rare. Because truth and courage are two sides of same coin. Truth and so-called courage are same coin. I sometimes feel that people in this continent, in South Asia, are becoming less truthful. That pains me actually. The reason is that more we go away from the value systems and truthfulness, more we are harming our interest, more we are damaging ourselves, more we are trying to put ourselves into unfavorable, unpredictable conditions where anything will happen and damages will come to us and will become more stressful. Now, the slide number 34 here. Leadership, the trickling bombs. 140 crore people. But in this world, there are more than 2 billion poor people. We have political, social, economic, demographical, emotional, and now geopolitical problem. How to deal with them? All these things are unpredictable. Financial crisis, economic crisis, input and commodity crisis, crude oil prices. There is a race for resources, and this one more crisis I added now. Food grain prices. You will not believe very large number of people going hungry every night in this world. And their numbers are more than 100 crore right now as per United Nations estimate. They do not get 2 times meal. India is far more fortunate to be in a position where we are able to feed our people completely, 100%, but not many people. Even down below, Sri Lanka is burning right now, and they have not been able to feed their people because there is so much shortage of food grains, and India has been helping them. It's a geopolitical crisis, and many countries, India is right now exporting the wheat and other things so that people don't go hungry. Poor people, hungry people, and these are tickling bombs for leadership, how to deal with them. Because once there is hunger, any kind of value system collapses. People don't see their values in any of the principles, any of the truth, because they need food first. We are fortunate in this country that we can talk about every other thing, but people are not hungry. At least they are being fed by the government or fed by a system, administrative system, which is credible, which is trustworthy. Then, race for resources. Who can monopolize? Almost all the so-called precious metals, the minor metals like palladium or something else, they are being monopolized by one country, China. And that's a huge problem. It means the human mindset is still tilted towards those monopolizations and those autocratic tendencies where the democratic setup or the things should have gone because divided between the so-called needy people. It's not happening. It means the credibility at the top is going down, whether it's political leadership, social leadership, economic leadership, demographic leadership, or corporate leadership, or business leadership. And we are right now under huge strain here. Aspirations, attitude, paradigms, the way we think. I think rest of the slides, which can be easily seen, they are more of, you can say, decorative in the nature. Some of the sayings are there from Chanakya also, which you can easily go through later on. The crux of matter, what I gave you in the leadership part 1 today, is that we are being right now, you can say, surrounded by many things which are degrading us. There are many enemies, there are many challenges, there are many problems, and problems can be from the family front, children front, finance front. Health front is one of the paramount these days. Learning front, social front, or spiritual front. Very large number of us are fighting after COVID with our health. Even I was fighting. I was 2 times badly affected by COVID and second time by Omicron this year in Feb month, just 2 months back. And I suffered hugely on that account, and still I am suffering. But positively, I am in the mind where I am smiling easily at my heart, and I am reaching to you people, because that's the only way to come out of trauma. That is the only way to come out of stress, because I want to speak well, I want to communicate well, I want to deliver well, I want to decide well. And if I keep my mental shape in positive and the productive direction, I'll be able to do well, and my body will definitely support me. So mind and body goes together. The question is, most major challenge in today's world, let me tell you, in leadership, this one, how to de-stress yourself, which I have come across. And people are under heavy stress right now on various forums, various domains. How to de-stress yourself. Every time we are getting a lot of tension from either this kind of people or that kind of people, this kind of problem, that kind of people. And we are having any kind of so-called cravings or delusions or petty-mindedness and aggression. Aggression is going up. As I told you that I had done a program on the depression, almost half of the youngsters these days are under depression. And people don't say, even you young girls and boys who are doing MBA, even middle-aged people who are doing from a Varenker, under stress. I won't say under depression, but deeper anxieties, frustrations, deeper disappointments are there. They are from the family front also. They are from the social front also. They are from health front also. Job front also, finances front also. How to elevate yourself, how to deal with them. My answer is one: have patience, have mind of peace of mind. Try to do some kind of yoga, meditation, some breathing exercise. Try to just control your mind. Any exercise which you want, I won't say yoga or meditation, try to do it. I can tell you, if your mind is positive, you will be able to deal with stress, not just your stress, because you are expected to reduce the stress of other people. Once you are able to deal with your stresses, your disappointments, your frustration in these leadership and managerial domains, you will be able to de-stress the people around you. I have got my own way, my YouTube channels where I do current affairs and my talk shows with the top people of the world there. I talk to them and I smile a lot, because a smile costs nothing to you. If you keep smiling, people will start smiling with you. If you cry, people won't cry with you. But if you're de-stressed, if you're tension-free, not totally, maybe slightly, I can assure you one thing: you will be able to de-stress other people. Once you de-stress other people, the second point in the leadership comes to the picture, that is your decision making. Your decision making becomes easy, more clear, more honest, more truthful, more courageous. And if your decision making is good, let me come to the third point here in leadership, your delivery system. That becomes far more powerful, efficient and effective. And people can see that these boys and girls are delivered here. Isn't it fantastic? Simple thing, de-stress yourself. Take fine decisions then. Make a delivery which will be liked by the people around you in the corporate, business, economic, family, social circle. And then see you come out as a fantastic person. And the last thing in this session, which I want to convey to you. Have a hobby. Create a hobby. Create something habit which can give you pleasantness, through which you can help the people and yourself, your people, your family member, your kids, your wife, your parents, yourself. Or maybe your husband also, if you're a girl. Spouse, I mean. What you cannot do, you can do this one. That is something which is essential, through which you can keep your health in fantastic and fabulous shape. Your mental shape, emotional shape, and all kind of, you can say, shapes which are required by your so-called human body system. The energy balancing. Life is about balancing. Leadership is about balancing. Managerialship is balancing. Balancing of energies. Energies which are inside us, energies which are outside. And last point, we can control ourselves. We have control on ourselves, our thought process on we. We do not have control on the external forces, economy, market, geopolitical, political, demographic, anything. We don't have control. They will be coming to us, haunting us, striking us. But we need to create that resolve, that mental makeup, that we can deal with those stresses coming from outside, because that is not in our control. We had started a bit late, but I believe we had tried to compensate it. And in the tomorrow session, if something is still left out, I'll cover that. It's my assurance to you. I'll ask my coordinator that if we can sum up the session and do the question answer MCQs with that one. Can I request it now? I think in the chat I shall
Yes, sir. Students, I will be starting the MCQ poll, and it will go on for 5 minutes. You have to answer in 5 minutes. After the poll closes, sir will discuss the points, and you will see the results after 2 sessions. So it takes around 7 working days after the 2 sessions. I will start the poll in a moment. All ready? 3, 2, 1, and poll is open.
I will read out the question if you don't read it properly.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay, fine.
After I close the poll.